Imagine having your dream property on a scenic hilltop. This land offers stunning panoramic views, and it's outside of Accra in Pokuase. It's perfect for your future home or an investment property. I want to bring you today and show you another opportunity you have if you would like to get land in Ghana. So I'm back at Pokuase with Kofi Anku. I came to see some of your properties, some of the affordable properties that you have at Pokuase Heights.
Yes.
And that was either 2021, 2022-ish, around there. And since then, you've sold out of both phases.
Phase 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, yeah, you were just starting phase 3 when I came the last time. So phase 3 is also sold out. Is there a 4 coming?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. And now you're also doing service plots.
That's right.
So, and I'm glad we're here to have this conversation, because a lot of people who are interested in coming to Ghana, they may not want to actually buy a property already built. A lot of people have ideas of what they want to construct. They have dream homes.
That's right.
You know, because when you're living in America or Canada, the UK, you might be seeing these beautiful mansions and you're like, they're out of reach. But come to Ghana and it's possible.
Absolutely.
So with you doing these service plots, it's an opportunity for people to get in and have a piece of Ghana for themselves.
We've actually been doing it for years.
Oh,
So as you can see, as we drive around, quite a few people we've bought, we've sold plots to. We've built lovely homes and moved in. And so that's something that we've been doing quietly for a long time.
that's good. That's good. And so with this, what is the difference between saying something is a service plot versus just a regular plot?
So when you buy a piece of land, it could be virgin. You're not guaranteed there's even an access road
There's nothing there.
to the property. Yeah, you can buy a virgin piece of land. How to get there is your problem. What we do with our service plots is we service them with an access road. We also wall the property. So we brought in a walling technology from South Africa, which allows us to build faster and with less cost. So that's something that we don't actually charge the buyer. We just
You just do it.
wall the plot, right? And what our thinking is behind that is that, in Ghana, the plot may be vacant for some time, and you don't want somebody making a claim on the land. So it shows that there's an active owner who's taking steps to secure the property.
Okay, so what you're saying is in Ghana, if you get a piece of land and you don't do anything, like somebody, let's say they're living in New York and they sent money to buy a piece of land in Ghana, but they've not come to even see it. Nobody's come to put their feet down. And if it's just empty, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, there could be a problem.
Absolutely.
What kind of problems could they have?
You could find somebody building on your property.
Somebody will just show up and start building.
Absolutely, it can happen.
And if that happens, what are the repercussions? Because if they've bought the land, isn't that the evidence that, I've bought the land? If somebody's building, I should be able to just kick them out.
Yeah, but it's a process. The court system takes a while to navigate. So if you can avoid the hassle,
Yeah.
you're going to want to do that.
Okay. All right.
You don't want to get tied up in litigation. And oftentimes people are busy. So you find the folks that are in the business of stealing people's lands, they know that, well, to put enough pressure, or it could be that it takes a long time to get your documentation. Because you're navigating fairly arcane bureaucracies. So it's not that, in Canada, if you buy a piece of land and you want your documentation, I'm sure it's quite quick.
Yeah.
Here it can take a while.
So putting a wall up secures that from happening.
Cures, and it also, there's a saying that good fences make good neighbors. So it kind of precludes any boundary disputes because there's already a wall.
Okay, good. And so all of the infrastructure, you will work on that for them, because you mentioned virgin land. There's nothing at all, no roads, nothing, no electricity, no water. Do you provide that for your service plots?
So what we do is we put in the access roads. We also bring in electricity. So we don't put the individual meter to the plot, because it's actually not possible to create a meter if there's not a house.
Right.
But what we do is we work with ECG. We bring in the electricity poles, we bring power to the streets.
Okay.
And then each individual buyer can connect
To the
tap right into the power that's next to the plot that they bought.
Okay. And then for water?
For water is a bit more tricky. In this area, typically folks either sink their own boreholes or they have poly tanks and those get filled with trucks.
Okay. And people who are watching that may be living in countries that they've never had a borehole in their life, they've never seen a borehole, they might be thinking, is that sanitary? How is the water being cleaned? There's people who will think that.
Sure.
How is the water, the groundwater coming from Ghana? Is it pure, clean, fresh?
Yeah, so it's not a well. You're actually boring sometimes 120 meters right into the rock base. So it's filtered. So, most folks that buy drinking water, that's what you're buying. If you're buying mineral water, it's water that's naturally filtered. What you need to watch out for is if you're too close to the sea, sometimes you can have a high salinity level.
So a lot of salt in it.
Yeah, which is an issue, and it's expensive to run a reverse osmosis process to pull the salt out. There might be high iron levels that need to be addressed. So it really depends on the site and what you experience once you sink that borehole.
But this area, we're in the eastern region. We're not close to the sea, so that's not really a huge concern for the salt in this particular land. And what's the size of the plots that you're selling?
Great question. So these plots are 100 by 70.
And that's standard in Ghana?
Yeah, so typically it's the 70-foot road frontage and then 100 feet deep.
Okay. And what can you build on that size?
You could build anything. It's a good chunk of land.
Uh-huh.
You could easily build a nice, comfortable 2-story, 5-bedroom house. You could probably build a couple of townhouses.
A couple of townhouses with enough space for land and grass and flowers and
Absolutely.
Maybe a small garden?
Yeah, so if you look at Aymensa Park, we put, I think it was 12 units on an acre.
Okay.
Right. So that works out to about three units per plot.
3 units per plot?
Yeah.
Because I've been there, I'm thinking, okay.
So it's a generous piece of land. There's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm seeing here right now, you've got, work in progress. We see the water tank. You mentioned the water tank. I just want to mention that because for those of you watching, living in North America, Europe, UK, you may have not seen these water tanks we have in Ghana. People have water delivered if you don't have enough water coming from your borehole, or if you would prefer to use that water, or if you don't have running water where you are, it's a great alternative to having your water delivered. And one thing to note is to make sure to have your poly tank cleaned, because a lot of people will just keep using them and not thinking about bacteria buildup in them, because buildup can happen. So when you do have it, make sure you find somebody who's reputable that can clean your poly tank at the same time that you're using it. Yeah, so it's something to know. And the view here is absolutely spectacular. Stunning. Yeah, I'm just like, I could look at this all day. I can only imagine how beautiful it is when the sun is setting, because we're here in the middle of the afternoon. It's beautiful just to look down and see all of this endless
expanse. Yeah, it's a bit hazy because you're seeing a bit of the Hamatan. But on a clear day, you can see all the way to the coastline if you're looking directly.
Coastline?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can identify buildings at Legon.
Really?
Good, you can see, yeah.
So we're really high up.
Absolutely.
We're really high up.
No, it's stunning. It's a lovely piece of land. In this direction, you're heading towards Kumasi. So in Koko, that direction. And then you're not actually too far from Iberi as well.
So you're perfectly centered. So you're close to the Ashanti region, not too far. We're in the eastern region, and then you're not far from getting to Greater Accra.
So this is technically Greater Accra.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why did I all this time think Pokuase was eastern region?
It's close.
Okay.
So Pokuase borders on the eastern region, but
Okay.
it's technically in
Greater Accra.
Greater Accra.
Really?
Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Yeah. So oddly enough, they don't issue land title certificates for property in the eastern region.
They don't. Why not?
The titling process has ended at Greater Accra for some reason.
So
if you buy property in Kusu, you can have a registered indenture, but you won't have a land title certificate.
So how does that affect a person when they are having any land disputes if they don't have title?
So it's something you don't have title. You don't have a land title certificate.
Okay.
Which actually one of these days we should do I'll bring you an actual certificate so you can see what it looks like. But it's got a wax seal and some green ribbon on it, and that's the certificate. But before you get a land title certificate, you have an indenture with a lot of the same information, which can be lodged at the Lands Commission in the Eastern Region. Kofi, I think, is where you do that paperwork there. So you can register your property, you have title, but you don't have a certificate, which is a different piece of documentation.
Okay, and is that throughout the rest of the country, or is that just the Eastern region?
Not sure about Ashanti region, but for the rest of the country, I think there's no land title certificate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. So I'm just like, my mind is blown. Yeah, I didn't know this. Wow. Okay. And so this place we're in right now, how many plots do you have available?
So this phase is 16 units.
Okay.
So we sold 7.
7 are gone already, you heard.
3 went last week.
Wow. They're going fast.
They're going quick. Yep. And I think there's obviously an uptick now with the Christmas rush. People are in town. They've been planning their holidays in Ghana, and I think one of their to-do lists is something on their to-do list is to buy a piece of property. And
I also have a lot of people who've been saying that they're a little bit disgruntled about political issues in their home countries, and that's something that's also making them consider coming to Ghana.
Trump.
Yes, people are saying that.
Yeah.
So I've had people reach out to me saying they're looking at coming to Ghana, they're looking at moving to Ghana, they want to get property, land, where can they go? Easy, some of them want easy turnkey, which is something like Pokuase Heights, and then others want to actually build their own. So this becomes an alternative as well. But some of them have said they want to take the leap, but they don't have the financial means to do it all at once. Do you have opportunities for them to do payment plans, or is it all payment up front, and how much are the plots?
Plots are 25,000 USD or CD equivalent. And we usually can accept like a 6-month payment plan.
Okay.
If it's multiple plots, then we can look at extending that if they're
Okay. So 6-month payment plan, and they paid through, is it through a third-party mortgaging company or lending company?
No mortgage, it's not a loan.
Okay.
They basically make a deposit, and then they make subsequent payments.
Okay.
So it could be monthly payments up for for the duration of the 6 months.
That's good.
And then they get the paperwork and can move on the property.
That's good. That's good. It must make you feel really good when you see people finally getting a piece of a Ghana that they want.
That's gratifying, particularly if they've had challenges in the past.
What are some of the biggest challenges people have told you about?
I think anybody who has in the property space in Ghana has had challenges. I think one that's particularly heartbreaking is sending money to relatives, hoping that a house has been built, but then that house
was never built.
Yeah.
I hear that story a lot, actually. Yeah. They come, and there's somebody even made a joke about it on social media. Like, you see these comedy sketches people make, and someone made a joke about it. Someone is like, the family members coming, we have to hurry and make the place look like something was happening when nothing was really happening.
Yeah, so I think, and sometimes the contractors aren't delivering. There's a bit of a skills deficit. So even if the intent is there, oftentimes people just don't have the skill set to be able to build. And it's one thing to pull a design out of Architectural Digest. It's another thing to have a team that knows how to execute on that.
Yeah.
Right. So for us, we design knowing what our guys can deliver with our developer product, like Pokuase Heights.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to just envision a project and bring it into fruition. We've actually got a couple of projects coming through the pipeline.
Okay. I can't
more,
wait to see.
Yeah, more townhouse, rooftop terrace type of properties. We're developing 6 just around the corner.
Okay. Before I touch on that, I wanted to know, when people buy land, one of these units here, these pieces of land, are you having any service where they can pay for you to help them with the designing and building the property?
It's funny you ask, because we literally had a team meeting last week to explore that possibility. And I think where we've settled is if it's a typology that we already built, we can build it for the client. So we're now just doing the costings to say, okay, well, somebody wanted a Pokuase Heights style bungalow on the property, and they already bought the land. We can come up with almost like a contracting arrangement.
Okay.
But what I don't want to do is to build bespoke homes, because it just slows us down. Because you've got to now do all your costings again and find materials, and the guys aren't necessarily used to the design. So, sometimes you have to redo elements, which can be challenging.
Okay. And so, do you give recommendations? Because some of these people might buy the land and they don't even know Ghana really. So they may be trusting you as the person who has an understanding of the lay of the land to maybe just refer them to somebody who's trustworthy.
Absolutely not.
Glad you're honest.
No recommendation. It's hard. I'll tell you why. Because it's the same. If you're building 10 homes, it's the same headache. So to build one 3-bedroom house for, a dentist in Baltimore, it's a difficult thing to do, to find somebody that has a skill set to deliver. And not just skill set, but who's available.
Right.
Who's prepared to take on that challenge.
Right.
But it's one house. Right? If you're talking about 10 homes, it's different.
Okay.
So they've been asking me this question for years, and I just don't know what to say, because, even sometimes you see people, they'll take on the work, but because it's just one house someplace, there can be disappointments.
Yeah.
I can give you a nice piece of land, I'm happy.
Then it's up to you from there. Yeah. So, okay, what are questions people should ask? Maybe you can help with this.
Sure.
What are the questions people should ask when they are looking for someone to build a property?
That's a great question. I think it's important to do your due diligence, find out what they've built, and maybe even speak to some of their client references and see. It's also important to see, what technical background to bring to the table, because Ghana, the barrier to entry is low. So I see a lot of buildings that are poorly designed, a lot of buildings that are poorly engineered, a lot of buildings that are poorly constructed. If you don't have kind of a certain ethical orientation, you can skimp. You can skimp on the quality of materials and the rebar that's reinforcing the foundation. And when you take these shortcuts, it may be fine until there's a bit of there's some seismicity.
Yeah.
Right? And then you realize that they've cut some corners, but you might not find out until 7 years into the game.
Right.
So I think it's important to pull in professionals, right? To bring in a civil engineer, right? But you also need them. It's really wild here. Once you start building, it's not like the city sends building inspectors to make sure that even if you've got a civil engineer who's stamped off on the drawings, it doesn't mean the contractor who's building, doesn't mean that they're following those drawings. So they can, if they decide they want to pull out some pillars, they can. So you need to, either have a civil engineer or an engineer, or an architect who's part of that process, or somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Okay. Well, you heard that. Civil engineer, architect, someone who knows what they're doing. You can even hire your own inspector. Hire your own building inspector.
There's a brother who's trying to organize a building inspectors association.
Okay.
In Ghana.
That's needed.
Yeah. So even if you're buying a house from somebody, right? If you're going through for the snagging process, you may just be a homeowner. So you can look through, but you don't necessarily know what to look for. You don't know how to pressure test your pipes. Right? So then if you have a leak and it's the property's out of warranty, or maybe there's no warranty to begin with, right? But to ask the right questions and to do some tests, all of that can be helpful.
That's good. It's a good starting point.
But at the same time, what's nice in this environment is a lot of freedom, right? So, I know that if you're in a city like London or parts of the US, just getting a building permit
Can be a headache.
very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, say that you buy 10 plots from me and you decide you want to do a little, townhouse development. It's not hard to get the building permits.
Yeah.
To just go and build your dream. So they're trade-offs.
Yeah.
They're benefits,
Yeah.
kind of having a low regulatory environment.
Yeah.
But there are also some pitfalls you have to be aware of.
Okay. Well, this is a great place.
Glad you like it.
It's a great place.
But I think you need to plot
You
yourself.
think I need a plot myself?
Yeah.
Do I need a plot? Do I need a plot too? Do I need a plot? Oh, I'm just like, this view. I could wake up to looking at this.
Yeah, so, I mean, the sun sets in the west right over
There.
on this horizon.
Rises in the east.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to have a nice big window all the way across.
I'm thinking like a wraparound terrace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to be outside.
You can see all sides. Yeah. Yes.
Let's do it.
I need one.
Let's do it.
I need one, and so do you. 25,000, 170 by
100 by 70.
100 by 70, 100 feet by 70 feet, and there's 16 that were available, but 7 are already gone. Now let's say 8.
We'll put your name on one end. Of course.
So act quickly before they're gone. You know, there's limited numbers available. And then you get the freedom to build your own space. Even, I mean, you might want to build an apartment that you rent out to other people. You might want to build a restaurant. Is there zoning restrictions here? I should ask you.
Yeah, these are all pretty much residential.
Okay, residential. Okay, so let me stop with all of what I'm saying. Residential. It could be your getaway. Like, you know, you don't have to always be in Accra.
This is stunning.
This could
So
be
this is actually, the video you did with Candace.
Yes.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah, it's not far from here at all. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a very peaceful place. Creative people, if you're a creative watching this, creative people love places that you can just feel like there's this freedom of creativity. All these ideas can come to you when you're sitting here, you feel the breeze, the sun, wake up with ideas. Yeah.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, this is a great spot. Thank you for bringing me out here today. But I want to touch on, you quickly mentioned you have another phase that you're building somewhere around the corner from here.
Yes. Yeah, we're doing 3-bedroom townhouses. So you've got living, kitchen, dining on the ground floor,
Yeah.
and then you've got 3 bedrooms on the first floor. In the States, they would call that the first floor.
Yes, we would call it the first floor, but they would call it the second floor here?
Second floor in the States, and in Ghana and the UK, they call that the first floor.
Yes, same with Canada. We would say second floor.
Okay, but North America has
North America has the same. Yeah.
So what we did do is we've added a roof terrace, which I think is key, because in this kind of environment, you just want to be outside.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to sit on a patio and just, yeah.
So I'm excited about those properties. We're just finishing the gray structure. So
So how many of them? You said 6?
there's 6 on that there's a little development that we've put together.
Has anybody purchased yet, or you're still you want to finish building before you?
Yeah, we haven't made a lot of noise yet. We're just in the process of kind of getting started. So
All right.
a little tip for your viewers.
Okay. Well, if you want, you can reach out to him, reach out to his team. The information will be in the description. How you can reach his sales team, on how you can purchase one of these service plots, or if you're interested in one of these 6 units that he's talking about that are being developed not far from here with a rooftop terrace that's going to be built on it too. So I'm interested in seeing what those look like. But information below. Make sure you call or email.
Sure. WhatsApp.
WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and then the information will bring you right there, and then you can get your piece of Ghana. Yeah,
Thanks, Ivy.
this is awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time once again. Once again, you mentioned at Pokuase Heights, before we wrap up, that there's going to be another phase.
There is. Yep.
When can we expect that?
Those houses, we can build them quite quickly. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Give me a couple months and then we'll be back.
And people can
reach out about those as well.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So you know where to reach him. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.